Good evening and welcome to TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. My name is Nguyen. In today's news, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump face off in the first US presidential debate. Vietnamese officials want to ban late-night sales of alcohol, and a global court agrees to arbitrate in the East Timor-Australia maritime border dispute. In today's top story, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have faced off in their first debate in front of what was expected to be a historic number of television viewers. The two US presidential candidates finally took to the stage together at New York's Hofstra University. The themes of the debate, chosen by the moderator, were America's direction, achieving prosperity, and securing America. Both Clinton and Trump weighed in on issues starting from economy to cybersecurity. The debate overall covered areas of gun policies, the relations between the police and African American communities in the wake of recent shootings, and the NATO agreement. For 70-year-old Trump, the debate was a chance to appear disciplined. For 68-year-old Clinton, it was an opportunity to reassure voters she could be trusted. Today's debate was the first of 3 scheduled face-offs between the two candidates before the November 8 elections. To other news in the US. US authorities say a man who opened fire outside a shopping center in Houston, Texas, injuring at least 9 people, has been fatally shot by police. Officials say the shooter, who is a lawyer, used a semi-automatic handgun and also had a semi-automatic rifle, a knife, and 2,600 rounds of live ammunition. Police said the guns were purchased legally and the man had a license to carry concealed weapons. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has not mentioned terrorism as a motive. US Secretary of State John Kerry has met with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, the first formal encounter between the two since Kerry became the top US diplomat. The two sat down together after a ceremony in the Colombian city of Cartagena to mark the signing of a peace agreement to end the country's civil war. Kerry and Maduro have also reportedly agreed to continue bilateral discussions that began in recent months. Meanwhile, actors Naomi Watts and Liev Schreiber are splitting up after 11 years together. In a statement, Watts, 47, and Schreiber, 48, said the best way forward for the family was to separate as a couple. Their separation follows on the heels of Hollywood power couple Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's sudden divorce announcement last week. Australian actress Watts, who has been nominated for 2 Oscars, and Schreiber, the star of Ray Donovan, have been involved since 2005 and have never been married. Watts had previously dated Australian actor Heath Ledger. A South Korean court will hold a hearing tomorrow to decide on prosecutors' request for an arrest warrant against Lotte Group chairman Shin Dong-bin. A Seoul Central District Court judge who acts as court spokesman told news agency Reuters the court will hear Shin's responses to the submission from prosecutors that they suspect him of embezzlement and breach of trust. The judge also said there was no fixed time for a ruling. On Monday, South Korean prosecutors asked the court to approve an arrest warrant for the 61-year-old following an investigation of the country's 5th largest family-run business group that became public knowledge in June. To news in Vietnam. Hundreds of Vietnamese fishermen swamped a court in the coastal province of Ha Tinh on Monday, with lawsuits demanding compensation from a Taiwanese steel plant whose discharge of toxic waste caused one of Vietnam's biggest environmental disasters. Tens of millions of fish died in April after Formosa Ha Tinh Steel, a subsidiary of Taiwan's Formosa Plastics, accidentally released toxic waste into the sea. The steel plant acknowledged in June that it was responsible for causing the massive fish deaths along a 200-kilometer of coastline and promised $500 million in compensation. Monday's mass lawsuit captured attention on Facebook but was not covered by state-run media. Vietnam's Ministry of Health is considering a ban of late-night sales of alcohol. According to various state media reports, the ministry is finalising a draft law on alcohol-related harms prevention and control. It's expected to be put before legislators in 2018. The proposed plan seeks to ban sales of liquor and beers after either 10 p.m. or midnight, as officials aim to reduce negative impacts of drinking. Nguyen, director of the ministry's Department of Legal Affairs, told a seminar in Hanoi that the proposal is based on similar bans already in place in several countries. Vietnamese newspaper VN Express cited Vietnam's Vice Minister of Health as saying the country is the second biggest consumer of beer and liquor in Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, back in Australia, an international arbitration court has agreed to take up a decade-long border dispute between Australia and East Timor over territory in the Timor Sea that contains large oil and gas deposits worth an estimated $40 billion. Last month, the island nation urged the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague to help end the dispute that has soured relations between the two countries, saying negotiations had so far failed. Australia has resisted negotiating a permanent border until 2056 at the earliest. Talks between the two countries will now take place over the next year. The federal government has lowered a proposed tax on backpayers who work in the country. Under the new proposal, effective from January 1st, people on working holiday visas will pay tax of 19.5% on every dollar earned, down from the government's original plan to impose a 32.5% tax. Australia has encouraged backpackers to work on farms with special visas, allowing them to stay for a second year if they do 3 months' work in rural Australia. That's all from TiVi Tuan-san, News at 6. Thank you for watching. I'm Nguyen. I look forward to your company at the same time tomorrow evening.